Hey everybody, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about finding a home plan and what type of home plan you should be building, and then taking that home plan and how do you turn that into a full set of blueprints so that you can get a cost for the home. So if you're going to be building a spec home, this would be one of the first steps. There's a lot of first steps, but this would be one of them. And just so you know, I did finish my course. I've got a course from A to Z, how to get the financing, the different types of financing, how to find the floor plans that sell, how to put your budget together, what you need to put the budget together, including selections, blueprint, how to do the selections, how to sell and market the home, scheduling the contractors, finding I mean, everything is in there. So I go into a lot more detail than I do here. Just so you know, I'll put the link in the description below for that. All right, so first off is choosing the home plan, and the lot is definitely going to dictate part of this. If I've used this example before, where we build a lot of the homes that we build, it's a subdivision where I would say the average square footage of new home being built in there is, we'll say 2,300 square feet. And most of the homes that we have built in there, most of the homes that have been built in there are ranches. So if I'm a newbie and I come into that subdivision and I decide, that's where I'm going to be purchasing my lot, that's where I'm going to be building my first spec home, then logically I'm going to say, okay, I see that, most of the homes that are being constructed are ranch homes. So I'm going to build a ranch. And, we know that if most of the homes being built are ranches, we know that there's demand for ranches. And if ranch homes are what is being built in there and that's what's selling in there, then we've got a proven track record that if we build a ranch home in this neighborhood, it's going to sell. Same thing if you go into a neighborhood and it's primarily 2 stories, because there is that as well. There's a lot of different explanations that go behind the reasonings of why you see some neighborhoods with a lot of 2 stories as opposed to ranch homes, but that's one of the things to look for there. The other thing that you're going to be looking at is, you come into a neighborhood, you determine this is the neighborhood where you're going to buy the lot, build the spec home, because there's other builders in there building and selling spec homes. There's new construction going on in there. It's just, those are good signs that, if you put something in there, it's going to sell just like what everybody else is doing in there. So you want to find out what the average size of home is in there. You don't want to build something a lot smaller than everything else that's being built in there, because we know that if the average square footage of a ranch being built in this neighborhood is 2,300 square feet, then there's the most demand for that. So I don't want to put an 1,800 square foot ranch in there and kind of rule out a bunch of buyers there. And the other end of the scale, I don't want to put a 3,000 square foot ranch in there when most people are building 2,300 square feet, because that is going to price a lot of people out of being able to purchase that house, and it's just too much house for that particular neighborhood. So that's something that you're going to want to find out as well. The style of home that's being built: ranch, 2-story, story and a half. That means master on the first floor, bedrooms upstairs, and typically like an open 2-story ceiling in the living room. That's the definition of the story and a half. But determining what style is being built in the neighborhood, and then what size is being built in the neighborhood. And then you can easily find out if there are homes that are being built in a specific neighborhood, what those new construction homes are selling for. Because again, you may be the same square footage as another home that's being built, but you don't want to go overboard and put in, the most expensive quartz countertops and, porcelain flooring throughout the house, when the other homes that are being built in there are hitting a different price point. They're doing granite, which is more cost efficient than quartz, and they're doing laminate floors that look like wood, nice looking floors, but that's significantly less than porcelain. So you want to make sure that you're not overbuilding or underbuilding for the neighborhood. Ideally, if something's working in a neighborhood, 2,200 square foot ranch homes are being built and sold for $550 in this neighborhood, then that's really what you want to try to do there. Now, if you're in an area where you can't just go into a new neighborhood and purchase a lot, maybe you have to, find a lot that is in an existing neighborhood where all the homes were built, 15, 20 years ago. You're going to want to kind of take a look at that outside, if you could stay within a mile, that would be great. But if you got to go, to be within 5 miles, that's fine too. But again, even though you don't have 2,300 square foot ranches being built in this neighborhood where you're going to be buying the lot, what's being built around you within that 1 mile radius or 2 mile, 3 mile, 4 mile radius? What's being built there? What's selling there? Because that's what you're going to kind of want to mirror there. But you're going to want to take a little bit of a step down, possibly, depending on where this lot is, what type of neighborhood this is. So again, let's just say, 2,300 square foot ranches are being built within a 3 mile radius. That's the most popular style of home. It's size of home that's being built. They're selling in the 550s. So, if you do that, it should work. But you're in a neighborhood where all of the homes were built 20 years ago. Maybe the average square footage in that neighborhood is, 1,800 square feet. You want to maybe err a little more on the side of being conservative there. If the homes are 1,800 square feet in this neighborhood, and if you don't know this is something that, I don't care how crazy high the building prices are, but pretty much always new construction is going to cost more than an existing home. If you're taking an 1,800 square foot ranch and you're comparing it to an 1,800 square foot ranch new build, the new build is going to be more than the 1,800 square foot ranch that was built, even 10 years ago. It's just, there's always going to be a premium for new construction. So that being said, I don't think you want to put that 2,300 square foot ranch in a neighborhood where average square footage is 1,800 square feet. The average sales price of resale homes in that neighborhood is maybe in the 400s. So you're going to be $150,000 more than what other homes in that neighborhood are selling for. There are circumstances where that works out just fine, but ideally you would then want to kind of scale back a little bit and say, okay, you know what, let's do 1,900 square feet. And let's try to target a sales price of $475 or $450. Keeping it closer to what's selling in that neighborhood. But the fact that there are other new construction builds in the area is a good sign there. So that kind of is part one of finding the home plan. That's going to give you an idea of what type of home plan you're gonna look for. Now, once you know that, where do you actually go to find an actual floor plan where you got a layout that you can look at and you say, you know what, I like the way that this layout is. I like the way this exterior is. Where do you go to do that? Because you don't want to just, go on another builder's site, take their floor plan and build something that they're building. You can't do that. That's illegal. You can be sued for doing that. So you don't want to copy somebody else's floor plan. What you can do is you can go on to eplans.com, coolhouseplans.com, designbasics.com, and you can find a home plan on the website there. You can just print off the flyer, which gives you a front elevation and a floor plan. That's all you're going to need, because we're going to talk about this in an upcoming step, but you're going to give that to a draftsman, and then they're going to take that design. You don't need an architect because you've already got a design. An architect is somebody you would use if you're starting from scratch and you're going into them and saying, well, I like, 4-bedroom home. I like open concept. I like this. And then the architect's going to design something for you. But you don't need that because you've already got a design. So we'll come back to that. So what you can do once you find a floor plan on one of these sites, you can buy the license to build this home once. And it's probably, between $700 and $900 to do that. They're also going to give you other options, to buy the license to build the home multiple times. buy the full set of blueprints, which is going to be a couple to a few $1,000s. And you don't want to do that, because if Design Basics is based out of Texas and I'm going to be building a floor plan in Wisconsin, then our building methods are a little bit different. We have basements. We're going to have, thicker wall exteriors because we need to have more insulation. There's just going to be different things that we need to do. And that's why it's a good idea to have a local draftsman or somebody that knows the building code in your area actually take the design and put together the full working set of blueprints. If you buy the full set of blueprints off of the site, and then you go to have this home built in Wisconsin, then you may be missing something. Maybe it doesn't have a foundation plan, or it just isn't going to work well. So I advise against doing that. So you're going to find the home plan, simply print out, or you can save and email once you find the draftsman this home flyer. Maybe you've got some things on there that you want to change up somewhat. Make sure to read the details when you're buying the license. That will tell you what you can and can't do with the plan. So make sure that you read everything with that, so you know exactly what you can and cannot do with that plan. Now, when you're looking at plans on these sites, the nice thing about these sites is you can kind of filter what you're looking for. So we're going to use the 2,300 square foot ranch again, for example. So if that's what you know that you want to build, then you can actually search plans by square footage. You can enter in the number of square feet. You can enter in the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, garage spaces, open concept, craftsman style exterior. There's a number of different filters that you can check to get floor plans that meet that criteria. Now, when you are looking for a floor plan, especially for a spec home, because when you're building a spec home, the number one goal here is you want to make money with the build. So you don't want to find this plan that it's amazing. I mean, I'll admit, this plan is unbelievable. It's got 20-foot tall ceilings, windows from floor to ceiling. It's got all kinds of foundation corners and bump outs and windows everywhere, and it's just an amazing plan. And anybody that would walk into this house would be wowed for sure. People would just be astonished over this thing. That's great, but that means that you're going to be having a lot of additional expense compared to a home that has 10-foot ceilings and doesn't have as many foundation corners, because that means the roof is simpler. The foundation or the build pad or the footings or slab on grade, wherever you're building it, everything's going to be simpler the less amount of corners that you have. So even though a plan looks awesome, got the garage angled off the side, the dinette's bumped out, you've got a sunroom off of the front. I mean, that looks great, and it would make for an awesome house. And maybe if you build a house, that's the type of house that you want to build. But when you're building a spec home, the number one goal is cost efficiency. You want to do a cost-efficient house and also fit in with the neighborhood. If this other neighborhood, again, homes are selling in the 550s, and you're going to kind of get an idea of what type of finishes are in these homes and character and ceiling heights. You want to kind of match and mirror somewhat what's already working. So keep that in mind as well. But again, you want to choose something that's going to be cost efficient, because the less expense that you can build a home for, then the more profit there's going to be when you sell the home. If you're building a home and it's an amazing, crazy home, but the build cost is $450, and you're buying your lot for $100, and you need to sell for $550 to kind of keep in line with everything else, so there's no profit there. But if you're buying the lot for $100 and your build cost is going to be $400 because you're keeping things more conservative and simple, and you've got cost efficiency in mind, well, and then you're selling for $550, well, now you've got $50,000 of profit margin there. So instead of having all kinds of crazy, corner, the more bump outs and corners and angles there are on a plan, when you're looking at a floor plan and you're looking at that overview of the floor plan, this is the most cost efficient, a rectangle. Now that's boring. That's going to make for an ugly house. So it doesn't need to be, just 4 corners and that's it. But if you're looking at a home that has, 16 corners or angles, because you can kind of go through and circle each one on the plan, and then you're looking at another home that has 26, I'm going to choose the one with 16, because each additional corner that translates into a more complicated roof. And if you have a basement, they charge more for corners in the foundation. Each one of those corners can add, at least $1,000. I would, general rule of thumb, if you're looking at something and one plan has 10 corners more than another one, figure it's going to cost about $10,000 more for that. So keep that in mind as well when you're looking at plans. And I've got examples, again, in my course. I've actually got examples of cost-efficient floor plans and popular floor plans that have been successful for us. So once you find that plan that like, okay, this is the one, I'm going to move ahead with this. This looks similar to some of the other homes that are being built there. It doesn't have a ton of foundation corners. It looks like it should be. Now you don't know if you're just starting off, like if this is going to be cost efficient or not, but I'm telling you that, if you don't have a ton of foundation corners and you're not seeing all kinds of craziness on the outside, you'll get an idea when you're looking at different the really, really cool, awesome looking houses are probably the ones that you're not going to do. Those are the ones where you've got like the open timber porches, you've got all kinds of cool stuff like that costs a lot of money to do. So when you're doing a spec home, depending on the market, again, you're going to mirror what's out there. If you're building in a neighborhood where they're all like that, and that is what is a proven winner out there, well, then you can do that. That's fine. But in most cases, and I guess it depends on where you're building, you're going to keep a little more conservative. At least that's my flavor added in there, my opinion there. So once you do find that floor plan, now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to take basically the design. It's got the front elevation, it's got the overview of the floor plan that shows the room sizes, the square footage. You're going to send that you're going to find a draftsman. And that's also another thing I have in my courses, how to find a draftsman, how to find contractors. Of course, you can Google, local draftsmen. You can call the local builders association in your area and ask if there's a draftsman that is a member of. You could even call different builders and ask them, and maybe they'll share with you as well. So once you find the draftsman, you're going to send that to the draftsman. He is then going to take that and turn it into a full working set of blueprints. So if you're building somewhere where you have to do a basement, he's going to put together a foundation plan, and it's going to show where the furnace is located down there, where the hot water heater is, where the plumbing stubs are for a future bathroom, where the steel I-beams are, where the windows are in the basement, where the light, everything about the basement that the contractors will need to know in order to give you bids. And in order to just have the full set complete plans, that's what he's going to do. So there's going to be a foundation plan. There's going to be not only now a front elevation of the house, but there's going to be a rear elevation, and there's going to be side elevations of the house. So you can see all the way around the house. Cider's going to need to know that. Mason's going to need that. The roofer's going to need that in order to give accurate bids and numbers on what their part is going to cost there. You're going to have a full-on electrical plan that's going to show where all of the electrical outlets and switches are in the house, where all the light fixtures are. The electrician is going to need that in order to give an accurate price on what he's going to charge for the electric. So the full set of blueprints is going to have lots of detail in there, and that's what you need. That's from where we started in this video about how to find the right floor plan. That's where you want to get to, is that full set of blueprints, because now you can take that and you can start getting bids and quotes from different contractors and vendors. Because again, going along with one of the first things that you need to know is, what is the building cost going to be for this home? You need to know that when you're finding the lot. You need to know exactly what the building cost is, along with the addition of the lot price, to know that, okay, I know what these two numbers are and I'm going to sell for this much. So now you know what your profit margin is and if that's going to work for you or not. So that's how you go from, the very beginning of where and what to look for in a house plan to the full set of blueprints. If you've got any questions, let me know. Again, you can check out my course. I've got detail on all this stuff, and I do offer support with that as well if you've got questions or what have you. So that's all I've got for this one. Have a great rest of the day. If you don't subscribe, please do so, and hit the little bell for notifications so that when I do more videos like this, you'll be notified.